Okay, hello guys. My name is Oluwatomi Adebi, and I'll be taking you a live lab on SQL today. Okay, so the live lab we'll be taking on SQL today will be on DDL in SQL, which DDL stands for Data Definition Language in SQL. So there are four major operations in SQL. There's DDL, there's DML, there's DCL, there's TCL. So DML, that's data manipulation language. DCL, that's data control language. TCL, that's transactional control language. Then the one we'll be doing today, DDL, that's data definition language. Okay, so Moses also took us through installing Microsoft SQL Server last week and also installing the Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. So what we'll be doing today is DDL. Okay, so I'll be moving on now. So because of our short time, I already created codes, scripts I'll be using. So in DDL, there are four major commands we use in defining data. So in defining the structure of a database. So we have create, we have alter, we have drop, we have truncate. So we're going to go through each of them and also be running codes on them. So just so we know, so create. So when we say create means we are creating a database, and also the create command is used for creating values. So it's used for creating columns and also creating tables in the database. Okay, then we have the alter. So alter is used for modifying the structure of our database. Then we have drop. So as just as like the name says, drop. So drop for dropping database, for dropping tables, and for also dropping columns. And the last one, we have truncate. So what the truncate command does is that it removes all records from the table. So we're going to get there. All right, so as you can see my code now, creates database. Okay, so for today, I will just be creating a database which is car dealership. So I can even clear these out now. Let's say create database car dealership DB. Okay, and that's the first thing we do now. So what we are trying to do here is we're trying to create a database. Okay, so I will execute that now. And this is the interface of Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. So I'll be executing this now. Okay, and as you can see, this is where we get our script. So this is where we get the result. So you can see the command has been completed successfully. So if I reload here now, okay, so this is the database I just created, which is the car dealership database. Okay, so moving on now, I'll be moving to the next thing. Okay, all right, so you can see this code. So here we are using the database we've already created, and then we're creating a table called cars. So just like we know in car dealerships, they sell cars, trucks, and I think these are the two things I know about. The other, yeah, some sell bikes. Okay, so create table cars. Then in create table cars, then we are going to define the columns. So we can see the first one here is the ID, which is the primary key identifier. So this is what is being used to identify this table we are creating. And also let's check name. Okay, so name, then this, as you can see, this is a variable character field and 50. So what 50 means is that it can't take more than 50 characters. So if we put it at 4, so and the name of the car is Benz, you take Benz. But if you want to put more cars into it, maybe a car that has like 5, maybe a car that has like 5 letters, don't take it. If we put this as 4, so we're just going to leave it as 50. So for it to contain everything we want to do. And also price. So as you can see, a price here, and price is integer. So that means it's number, price of cars are numbers. Okay, and this is not null. Okay, so I'll just be going on now and I'll be executing this. Okay, so I can get my command now. My command completed successfully. Okay, so what we've done here now is we created a table called cars and we've added columns to it. So the three columns we added was the primary key identifier, the name, so you can say this is the name of the car, and price. Okay, so moving on now. So what we're moving on now, what I'm trying to do here is from the car dealership. So we are trying to look at the tables we just created. Table we just created from the information schema. So I'll run this now, execute. Okay, and you can see this now. So this our database and the schema, and this is the table we just created. Okay, so I'll be moving on now, and then the next thing I will be doing now. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to, you can see, use car dealership DB, that's the database we created. Select column name data type from information schema dot columns where data where table name equals cars. So we're just trying to see all what we've created, and running this executes this. Okay, so let me go back. Car dealership DB. Okay, so let's look at what the issue. Okay, the issue is the table I created is cars. So I'll just come back here and add this. So let's run this again now. Okay, and executing it now, so we can see the columns we just created in this table cars. So we can see the ID name, the primary key identifier, then we can see the name. So this will contain the name of the cars and the price of the cars. Okay, so moving on now. So all what we've done now is the create command of DDL, create. Okay, so let's go to the next command now. And the next command is alter. And what alter does is alter is modifying the structure of our database you already created. So you can see all what we did here was to define the structure of the database we were creating in create. So what alter does is to modify the structure. And you can see use car dealership we created, alter, so we are altering the table cars, and then we are adding another column which is seat. And yeah, seat. So seat not null. And let's execute this. Okay, and you can see this is completed successfully. So now let's move on to the next command. Okay, and as you can see here, it's similar to the command we run before. Use car dealership database. We are selecting the column name and the data type from the information schema where the table name is cars. So let's execute this again. Okay, and now we can see, so what we can see here is it has added a new column for us, which is seat. So we add the primary key identifier before, now we have name, we have price, we have seat. So these columns are what then contain our data. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, now this is also alter. And what this will do, so we're using the car dealership database, we alter the table cars, and we will also alter the seats. So the seats was integer before, so now we want to alter it. We want to change it to a variable character field, which is going to contain 50 characters. So let's execute that. Okay, let's try. Okay, alter table field with cost the column seats does not exist in the table cars. So let's go back. Okay, add seats or seats. You can continue using seats. So let's go back now and use seats. Or anyone who wants to do seats. So you can also, yeah, let's continue. Let's use seats. So let's change the seats column to variable character field, and I'll execute this now. Okay, so I've executed this now, and if you go back here, you can see the seat is an integer here. So what I will do is this command, I'll run it again. So what we can see here is seat. Seat has also changed to a variable character field. Okay, so moving on. So that is all about create and alter. So create for creating database, creating the table, then adding the columns. Then alter, we are modifying the structure of the table we created. Okay, so I'll be moving on now. So the next, okay, hello guys. Okay, so now what we are trying to do now is we're trying to look at the other two DDL commands in SQL, and drop and truncate. So as you can see, so drop can be used to drop a database, it can be used to drop a table, and it can also be used to drop a column. So as you can see, to drop a database, command is straightforward. Drop database, then we specify the database you want to drop. Then next up, so to drop a table, then drop table, then we specify our table. So because our time is fast spent, we won't be running these commands, but if you try them yourself, it will run. Okay, then that's the next one. So the next one to drop a column. So you would see this is an addition of two DDL commands. We first use alter to alter the table. Then we now drop the column. So to drop a column is addition of two commands. We alter the table first, then we drop the column. Okay, and next up here, so what we're just trying to do here is okay, so now we are at the truncate command. So, and that's the fourth DDL command, and what truncate does is to remove all the records from a table. Okay, and we can see, so what we're trying to do here is we're trying to insert values into cars, and if you're saying this insert values, so that's the DML command. We'll be touching that next week on the analyst. So you can see we're inserting values into cars, our values. So for car A, we inserting this value for it. For car B, we inserting these values for it. For car C, we inserting these values for it. And then, so what this command does also, so this is also a DML command, and what it does is to select. So I'll be explaining this. Select, and this time means you're selecting all the columns, all the tables, all the tables from our car dealership. So we're selecting all from car dealership table. Selecting all from our car dealership database, and cars is the table. And what this will do is it will return all the columns in the table cars to us. Okay, then this is now the truncate command. So what this is used for is to remove all the records from our table cars. So if we run this command now, it removes all the records from our table cars. Okay, yeah, so that will be all for tonight, and thanks for joining us on Dear Analyst tonight. So next week we'll be looking at DML commands in SQL, and DML stands for Data Manipulation Language. And as you can see, we already saw some of them, which is select, then insert. So those are the some of the commands we'll be looking at next week. So thanks for joining us, guys. So enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye.